In this class, let us continue our discussion about leukemias. Two leukemias we'll be discussing today. The first is an acute lymphoblastic leukemia or ALL, and the second is chronic lymphocytic leukemia or CLL. And let us end today's class with another important topic, multiple myeloma. The learning objectives of this class are to understand the differences between ALL and CLL in terms of clinical features and diagnosis, and also to understand about the clinical features and diagnostic aspects of multiple myeloma. Starting the class with acute lymphoblastic leukemia or ALL, it's a malignant clonal proliferation of lymphoid stem cells causing accumulation of lymphoblasts. So when I say acute, it means that more than 20% of blast cells are there, one thing. And which blast? That is the lineage is lymphoid lineage, hence lymphoblast. So ALL or acute lymphoblastic leukemia has a minimum of more than 20% of lymphoblasts. Coming to the causes of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, Epstein-Barr virus is one virus which is known to cause ALL, particularly the L3 type of ALL. Secondly, we have syndromes like Down syndrome, and thirdly, radiation exposure. ALL again is classified by both WHO and FAB. FAB classification easy to remember in ALL. Three classes are there. First one is L1, second one is L2, and third one is L3. Remember in AML we had 8 classes starting from M0 till M7. Here it is starting from L1 and ending at L3, 3 classes. The L1 type is mainly seen in children. Here the lymphoblasts are smaller with scant cytoplasm, less cytoplasm. The nucleus is round to oval. Chromatin is reticular in pattern and one nucleolus will be there. L2 subtype will be seen mainly in adults. Here the size of the lymphoblast is slightly larger than the blasts in L1. Some amount of cytoplasm is also there here. The nucleus is irregular, sometimes indentations of nucleus will be there. The chromatin is coarse and the number of nucleoli will be one or more. The last type is the L3 type of ALL, also sometimes referred to as Burkitt's ALL. It accounts for 2 to 4% of all ALLs occurring in both children and adults. Here the cells are even larger, and specifically in the cytoplasm there will be numerous clear vacuoles. Nucleus will be round to oval here, the chromatin will be coarse, and again one or more than one nucleoli will be there here. This is an image of L1 type of ALL. Here the lymphoblasts are of similar size of RBC, maybe slightly bigger. Most of the cells here have one nucleoli, and on the right side of the image you are seeing some pink colored smeared. That is because these tumor cells or the lymphoblasts, they are so fragile. When you make a peripheral smear, the cells will break and the nucleus material, whatever is there, it will get smeared. So these are called smudge cells. This is an image of ALL L2. As compared to L1, the lymphoblasts are slightly larger here. You can clearly see the coarse chromatin in these blast cells. The nuclei of these blast cells are showing multiple nucleoli, more than one in all of those blast cells. The lymphoblast at the lower end of the image, which is pointed by an arrow, is showing about 4 nucleoli. This is an image of ALL L3 with blast cells, that is lymphoblasts, even bigger, and the characteristic feature is presence of clear vacuoles in the cytoplasm of the blast cells. You can see multiple vacuoles in the cytoplasm. Clinically in ALL, the peak age of incidence is at 4 years. So most of the patients will be presenting to the pediatric OPD. Males are more commonly affected as compared to females, and clinical features include fatigue, malaise, weakness, pallor, and bleeding symptoms. Hemoglobin will be reduced, that is, the patient will be anemic. WBC count obviously will be elevated because there are numerous lymphoblasts, at least more than 20%. Platelet count will be reduced. Peripheral smear will show normocytic, normochromic type of anemia, with the lymphoblasts accounting to 20 to 90% of all the WBCs. Bone marrow examination, if done, will show excessive amounts of cells in the bone marrow, apart from suppression of all lineages, leading to reduction in RBCs and reduction in platelets. For further evaluation and deciding what type of treatment is to be given, flow cytometry can be done. Using flow cytometry, you can classify ALL into either early pre-B, pre-B, B cell or T cell ALL, and then a specific treatment can be arrived upon. The second topic for this class is chronic lymphocytic leukemia or CLL. So when I say chronic lymphocytic leukemia, the lineage will obviously be lymphoid. That is why the type of blasts we are looking for here is lymphoblasts, and the number of those lymphoblasts should be less than 20% because it is chronic. So CLL is defined as a clonal neoplastic proliferation of lymphocytes with predominant blood and bone marrow involvement. Most of the types, the type of lymphocyte is B lymphocyte. That is why this chronic lymphocytic leukemia is also known by another name, that is B chronic lymphocytic leukemia or small lymphocytic lymphoma. The cause for CLL is unknown. Some genetic causes are implicated. Clinically, the patients affected by CLL are old people, usually more than 50 years of age. Gender-wise, males again are more commonly affected by CLL. Usually, this CLL does not produce any symptoms. For general health checkup, when people go or people go with other features such as fever or anything, this CLL is incidentally detected. Sometimes, however, lymphadenopathy, that is enlargement of lymph nodes, may be present. When the patient is investigated, hemoglobin is generally reduced, WBC count obviously is increased, lymphocytosis is there, that is increase in the number of lymphocytes. These are mature and small lymphocytes, and smudge cells also will be there. The number of lymphoblasts, if present, will be less than 20%. Platelets may be normal or they may be reduced. Peripheral smear, when we examine, it will have too many lymphocytes as indicated by 1, 2 and 3. These are all mature lymphocytes. Under oil immersion, when we see, the distribution of chromatin appears like a soccer ball arrangement. CLL is said to have an indolent course, meaning that it slowly progresses and does not cause much symptoms. That is why usually the patients who are diagnosed by CLL will be on follow-up. Medications will be started if at all there is a suspicion of transformation into other type of leukemias, such as pro-lymphocytic type of a leukemia. Bone marrow, when we examine, we'll see that the number of cells in the bone marrow is increased, as well as those cells are all small lymphocytes. The third and the last topic for this class is multiple myeloma, also called as plasma cell myeloma. This multiple myeloma or plasma cell myeloma is a part of group of disorders known as plasma cell dyscrasias, in which there is excessive proliferation of plasma cells and increased production of abnormal hemoglobins. Also in the group are other diseases such as Waldenstrom macroglobulinemia, monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance, Poems syndrome, etc. This multiple myeloma is a tumor of terminally differentiated B cells or plasma cells characterized by formation of tumor masses in the skeletal bone marrow, suppression of normal immunoglobulins, and production of abnormal immunoglobulins, also known as paraproteins. Causative factors for multiple myeloma are unknown. However, several risk factors are identified, namely pesticides or herbicide contact, ionizing radiation, prolonged use of hair coloring agents, etc. The cell of origin of multiple myeloma or plasma cell myeloma is called post-germinal center B cell. So, post-germinal center B cell further develops into plasma cell. So, whenever there is a problem with post-germinal center B cell, it will produce monoclonal plasma cells which produce abnormal type of proteins called paraproteins. Clinically, the affected patients are generally very old, 50 to 70 years of age, males and females being affected equally. The malignant plasma cells will cause production of abnormal protein leading to features such as amyloidosis, increased viscosity, also leading to renal failure, etc. They will produce decreased levels of normal immunoglobulins, because of which the patients are susceptible to infections. They will infiltrate the bone marrow, leading to reduced production of other cells like RBCs, then granulocytes and platelets, leading to anemia. And also there will be bone destruction, leading to features of increased calcium in the blood and also spontaneous fractures. For the diagnosis, the patient will have normocytic normochromic type of an anemia. The patient will have high erythrocyte sedimentation rate, and peripheral smear from outside, if you see, it will appear very bluish in color. For the diagnosis of multiple myeloma, bone marrow examination has to be done, wherein you should be able to see more than 10% of the cells being plasma cells, that too monoclonal plasma cells. Most of the times in multiple myeloma patients, too many plasma cells will be there arranged in sheets. Plasma blasts can be there. Mott cells are there, which are plasma cells with numerous vacuoles in the cytoplasm. Each of those vacuoles is called a Russell body, and in those vacuoles there will be immunoglobulins. Sometimes nucleus itself will show a vacuole. It's a pseudo inclusion actually, called a Dutcher body. In the main image, we are seeing numerous plasma cells with eccentric nucleus and chromatin arranged in the pattern of a clock face. In the inset to the left bottom, we are seeing a Mott cells with numerous grape-like vesicles in the cytoplasm. Each of those vesicles is called a Russell body. And on the right bottom of the image, we are seeing an inclusion within the nucleus, which is a pseudo inclusion called Dutcher body. So both these Russell bodies as well as Dutcher bodies will have immunoglobulins inside them. This is a cytology image. Here we are seeing numerous plasma cells. I just put this image to show you the chromatin arrangement better. At the top right, I have put an inset. Here we can see chromatin arranged in the shape of a clock face. So chromatin will all be at the margin and arranged like the spokes of a wheel or clock face. An important diagnostic criteria called CRAB is developed for suspecting multiple myeloma. C for calcium, that is hypercalcemia, increased in calcium. R for renal failure, which is evidenced as increase in serum urea and creatinine. A for anemia, that is due to less hemoglobin or less number of RBCs, which is because of replacement of bone marrow due to proliferating plasma cells. Then under B, you have bone, that is punched out lesions in the skull. The image shows multiple punched out lesions in the skull. Two investigations we can do. The first is serum electrophoresis, a very important investigation. Here you'll see an M band in the electrophoresis strip and an M spike in the graph. M band is basically increased levels of immunoglobulin G. Most of the times it is immunoglobulin G. Sometimes immunoglobulin D, A and E can also be increased. Another thing is serum beta 2 microglobin level will also be increased in multiple myeloma. Urine examination may reveal monoclonal light chain in the urine, also called as Benz-Jones proteinuria. This again can be demonstrated by electrophoresis. The left side graph shows multiple peaks corresponding to various types of proteins found in the serum. Albumin is the most predominant protein in the serum. That is why albumin has the tallest peak in normal. In a patient with multiple myeloma, due to increase in gamma globulins that corresponds to the last peak, you'll be seeing a tall spike called M spike. To summarize this class, we discussed three topics today: ALL, CLL and multiple myeloma. In ALL, we saw more than 20% of lymphoblasts. We discussed some causative factors. We discussed the FAB classification, which had L1, L2 and L3, and also saw the morphology of lymphoblasts in L1, L2 and L3. Then we spoke about certain lab investigations and how to diagnose this ALL. In CLL, we saw that it was a type of leukemia with less than 20% of lymphoblasts. It was seen in elderly patients. Peripheral smear and bone marrow showed too many mature lymphocytes with smudge cells and also soccer ball pattern of chromatin arrangement. Then lastly, we discussed about multiple myeloma, which was again seen in elderly patients, which was a tumor of plasma cells. In this, we saw that abnormal immunoglobulins were released and less of normal immunoglobulins were released. And in electrophoresis, we saw the presence of an M spike corresponding to an increase in gamma globins, that is abnormal gamma globins. Then we discussed about the CRAB criteria also: hypercalcemia, renal failure, anemia and bone lesions. That was it for this class. Let us discuss about Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin lymphoma in the next class.